Welcome to Not the Top 20 podcast, a league...
That was a very deep start.
Yeah, welcome. League 2, the deepest of our divisions. This is the League 2 opening weekend recap on NTT20 Monday Pod, sponsored by Loaded. It's a good word to say in a low voice, that Loaded.
Loaded.
Sponsored by Loaded.
Do you reckon next week we should do the championship in our highest pitch voice?
Maybe. Maybe. In League 2, New Boys York buoyed by New Boy Boys' brace.
Oh.
A left peg like a pistol, helping them to beat Bristol Rovers. Gills wasteful against Walsall before granting Grant's side 3 goals. Barnet looked razor sharp against the Clams, Salford. New season, new players, Newport County. 3 debutants on the score sheet for them. An amber warning for Rochdale. All that and way more. Way more.
I think razor sharp and razor clam, that might be your best ever work, I think. That is sensational.
I was probably more pleased with New Boys York buoyed by New Boys Boys' brace.
Yeah, but I'm going to say something similar to that in a second. That's just kind of, barrel scraping that.
It was a good opening weekend in League 2. Before we get into it, George, exciting news.
Yes, big news, exciting news. Loaded are the new title sponsors of the Monday Pod.
Yeah, Loaded is a digital game store, and it used to be known as CD Keys. It's been around for a while, but it's had a rebrand. It is Loaded, and it helps players get more gaming for their money on games, memberships, top-ups, and other digital gaming products. It's got an amazing 4.8 star score on Trustpilot, and what's clear is that Loaded offers unbeatable prices on games, on memberships, on vouchers, and also offers a quick, easy and reliable purchasing process, which is exactly what you want when buying games. And in fact, our producer Rick just told us that he's been buying his games from Loaded for years.
A man of sublime taste. They're also front of shirt sponsor for Derby County, which is really exciting. And as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, these kits look excellent, especially the one in pink. I think you look rather fetching in, Ali.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting couple of months. I'm very into Football Manager. I'm very into EA Sports FC. These are games I've been playing basically my whole life. We've got a new version of each game coming out over the next few months. The rest of 2026 is going to be packed with new games for me. I've always fancied myself on both Football Manager and EA Sports FC, so I'll be diving in head first, giving some brief and hopefully fun, entertaining updates each week on a Monday pod. But not just playing on my own and telling you guys about it. I want to add some competition and community as well. And so we're introducing the NTT20 Video Game Challenge. Later on in the episode, we'll give more details. But in short, I'm managing Derby County to Champions League glory on Football Manager 2026. And I want you to do the same and take me on.
And I'll be making a few signings on your behalf.
Yeah.
But we basically became friends, through a shared love of football when we were kids. But actually, really, it was a shared love of Championship Manager 2001, 2002. There were 3 of us in this friendship early on: me, you, and Toe Madeira. So it feels like a nice full circle moment that we now get to talk about the game and play the game as part of our sponsorship with Loaded.
Yeah, we've actually got a WhatsApp group with 2 mates that's still called the CM Army. And we want you guys to be a sort of gaming army for us over the next few months. So please, step 1, join the Discord community linked in the description. That's going to be the place, the kind of central hub for all of our updates and community challenges, and where you can get involved and post your own updates as well and take me on. Basically, we're really excited to be partnered with Loaded for the Monday pod, and we hope that you guys will get involved as well. Oof, where to start really? Probably York 3, Bristol Rovers 2. York's first game back in the big time for some time, and against a fellow heavy hitter, we reckon. A real clash of styles, this one, George, and a very, 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 very entertaining football match.
Just a really fun game to have first up, basically. 2 of the favourites to win the league. York, the latest team to win the National League, with deep pockets and big ambitions, coming up against the Bristol Rovers side, who had deep pockets and then didn't do very well at the beginning of last season, but appointed Steve Evans and then did very well. And a lot of people, including you, think they're going to go really well this season. So this was a good chance to have a look at both of them. And I guess it was a great game, and it was a game that York ended up winning, and probably deservedly so, given that the way the second half went. Bristol Rovers did take the lead, and I was mightily impressed with Keenan Goff's role in the goal. A centre-back by trade on loan from Cheltenham Athletic, who Steve Evans very quickly said he'll be playing in central midfield. He a really good tackle, shrugged off a couple of opposition players, showing some good strength, and then a beautiful raking pass out to the left-hand channel where Cavan crossed, and it was converted by Mola to put Bristol Rovers 1-0 up. This had come after sustained possession and pressure from York, and I think this is going to be something that we might see all season, where even though York continued to dominate the ball and continued to look really impressive basically between the boxes in terms of the way they moved the ball, Cavan and Ford both missed decent chances either side of half-time when it was still 1-0 to Bristol Rovers. And even though what came next was impressive from a York perspective, I would just say, I want it on record now, especially because we've seen this from good Scott Lindsay sides in the past. I do think defending in transition is going to be an issue for this team. It looks like they do leave a lot of space to get in behind. A brilliant assist from Joe Gray driving down the right-hand side, passing inside to Newby, who finished really well. And then a really, really good finish by the boys you were mentioning a second ago. Just a really pure strike into the bottom right-hand corner. A quick-fire double from York to put them 2-1 up on their return to EFL football. Boyd was then the villain. He pushed forward in the back. It was one of those where live you have no idea what's happened and it looks really innocuous. When you see the highlight, like, they're rarely given, but he knows what he's doing. Shaq Ford is running into the back post. He isn't tracking him and he just pushes him in the back. So I think it's a good decision from the referee.
I agree.
The penalty is converted before he pops up again. The left back suddenly popping up on the right-hand side to head home after a newbie header kind of comes across to the back post on the right-hand side. So
great scenes.
Big drama. I mean, obviously, last time York played a league match at home, there was significant drama late on against Rochdale, so their fans are being treated at the moment. I think that the significance of this win is obvious. You know, Scott Lindsay, not a popular appointment, not popular after their defeat to Crawley in the preliminary round of the Carabao Cup. Had they lost this game, I think things could have got quite nasty quite quickly. But instead, fans would have left entertained by the football and entertained by the win. So a really big first step for him to try and win over the opposition. Bristol Rovers look pretty good. York are a good team. I'm not going to mark them down too much for not winning this. They'll just feel frustrated they didn't take one of their chances at 1-0.
Next, I'm going to go to Gillingham. Specifically, Gills 0, Walsall 3. I mean, talk about scenes. Unbelievable scenes in that away end. Gills must be one of the least hospitable away ends in the whole country, but it does seem to...
You said that, not me.
It does seem to chuck up some incredible limbs, I must say. This 3-0 win for Walsall, probably the most misleading scoreline of the whole weekend. This was, to a certain extent, a smash and grab and grab and grab again. In the first 70 minutes, the home team, Gillingham, the better side, creating better chances, pressing well. They hit the woodwork multiple times. Goodwin in particular had a number of chances. The positives were Zayn Alvarez looking very good, 20-year-old midfielder they signed from Brighton this summer. But also because Gillingham seemingly just can't have nice things. They also had in the first half, while playing well, former captain Armani Little coming off injured after 31 minutes. And then the new captain, Liam Gordon, big Grizzly centre-back, coming off on the 37th minute, and I'm afraid it looked like a bad one. Crumpled in a heap, seen in a knee brace, having looked great for 35 minutes. He could be out for a while. And it's just horrible, to be honest. It's absolutely horrible. Even so, they still maintained decent performance level. Walsall basically just stayed in the game. And then big subs for Lee Grant, Courtney Clark and Isaac Moore coming off the bench after an hour. And Courtney Clark basically puts in half an hour, one of the best performances of the League Two weekend. At first, he cuts in from the left, right-footed cross to Aaron Pressley at the back post. His header is saved. Isaac Moore reacts quickest to score. So straight away, those subs making a big difference. And then Clark, again off the left, cutting inside, a shot hitting James Connolly, hitting the post, back to Connolly for a tap-in. And then, right at the end, keeping the ball in the corner from a set piece, Clark gets a bit bored of doing that, spins his man, runs down the byline and crosses it for Aaron Pressley to head home. Walsall have won 3-0 when half an hour before probably would have taken a 0-0 draw, and Gills, at that, if it had been a 0-0 draw, might have felt a little hard done by. It's a horrible start to the season for Gillingham in terms of the scoreline, in terms of the injuries. You've got to hope that the fans are clinging on to what was a decent performance for an hour. If they can match that, and if they can get some reinforcements in key areas, particularly it looks like at centre-back. They should get better results in the next few weeks. But for Walsall, it's a hell of a start to the season. Away game against Bristol City, 1-0 win. Away game against Gills, 3-0 win. The perfect start for Lee Grant. A lot of eyes were on Barnet Salford, George. You said York and Bristol Rovers was battle between two of the promotion contenders. I mean, I think Barnet Salford was literally third favourites hosting favourites.
And now, second favourites hosting favourites, because Barnet was so impressive. They are now second favourites to the bookmakers, and for some firms, not even that much bigger than Salford. If this continues, I mean, Barnet were... hilariously for us, having been so bullish about them in our 1-24s, the data darlings of last season who couldn't really find a way to win. Here, they had no issue seeing off a Salford side who much expected of them. There's no denying with the quality in their team, they should have been better than this, but they were totally and utterly outclassed by a Barnet side. And there might be a lesson here. I'm totally telling myself a lesson. You can get so obsessed with the players that teams lose. I think we saw Glover leaving, we saw Stead leaving and thinking, we said like maybe that's their chance gone. But it's so regular. It's so often you look at teams who have a good season, they lose a couple of key players, they reinvest well, and then they improve on the season afterwards. I think we fixate way too much on what individuals can do in terms of performance, because this was excellent from Barnet, who are so well coached by Dean Brennan. They thought they'd taken the lead really early. A butcher pass back was pounced on by Tishmanga and converted by Knowles, and about 25 minutes after he scored, the offside flag went up. So there are warning signs there, but Salford didn't really heed it. He does warning signs. My favourite assist of the season happened on Saturday, where Tishmanga volleyed the ball, it ricocheted off the Salford defender and smacked him in the face, and then went through to Ocean Gallagher, who took a brilliant first touch and then finished. What I love about this is there's a second replay where you can see Tishmanga trying to watch the goal and kind of celebrating whilst also making a face to show it just really hurt him, having the ball just wallop him in the nose. Norris then, the Salford keeper, makes a really bad clearance, falls straight into the path of Charlie Lakin, who carries it forward and finishes comfortably. In the second half, Tishmanga then gets his goal. Norris could probably do better. Salford did create some chances, and Olowu went close, having one cleared off the line before he finally got his goal in injury time against his former club to make it 3-1. But it wasn't like they didn't dominate the ball necessarily. They tried to pass through the thirds and just kept failing to do that and conceding the ball in dangerous areas. Big warning signs about this performance from Salford. Now, one of two things could be true here. Either they've come up against the Barnet side who might be the best team in the league, or one of the best teams in the league, in which case when they come up against weaker sides, they'll be fine. Or the way that they're trying to play, the means of Peter Klimowski to try and get them into the team that he wants them to be isn't particularly well suited to the level. We will see. But yeah, Barnet surely one of the biggest positive stories out of the weekend, and Salford surely one of the biggest concerns.
Wispy performance from Salford City. Anything but from Barnet. They kind of bullied them really, while also retaining the technical quality that's defined this Barnet side under Dean Brennan for a while now. 3-0 win for Newport at home to Rochdale was a hell of a way to start the season. Newport County fans thinking what Crystal Palace fans were thinking in the early 2000s. What a start to the Hayden Mullins era. And possibly the statement performance of the League Two opening weekend. I mean, you've made a pretty strong case for Barnet there, but in the sense that, Newport just consistently created chances, a lot of them from set pieces. If you watch the highlights of this game, it does genuinely feel like you're watching a big in set piece followed by a big in set piece followed by a big in set piece. But that's because the big in set pieces were very, very well delivered and well attacked. Biggins is like one of my favourite players at the moment in the EFL, in that I can't believe how good he's looked since signing for Newport. And given where Newport were in January when he signed, obviously they lost Braybrook, and it was just like they can't possibly stay up without the guy that was one of the best players in the league playing for one of the worst teams. Biggins arrived, and I'm like, this is not a Sammy Braybrook replacement. Biggins is, up to that point in my eyes, from his time at Donny in particular, is like a goal-scoring number 8 box-to-box midfielder. Is not going to offer you a huge amount in terms of ball progression, chance creation. And for whatever reason, he just pitched up at Newport, and he's just looked like everything you'd want from a kind of number 8. Not just box crashing and scoring goals, which he has done, but also doing so much more in terms of what he does with the ball, his pressing, his athleticism, his energy, his kind of leadership on the ball. It's just brilliant. And I really, really enjoy watching him play. Now, the first goal was scored by Kyle Cameron. Looked offside, wasn't. There was one Dale defender that was too slow to get out from the second phase of the set piece. Lots of possession for Rochdale, which I think we can get used to. Almost all of it in very unthreatening areas for them. Obviously, nearly gave the ball away at the back a couple of times, as is pretty standard at this stage of the season. But the 2 goals that Newport scored to make it 2-0 and 3-0 are so exciting because Biggins crossed nicely for Shaq Gwenje to head home. His first goal for Newport. This is a guy who scored 47 goals in all competitions last season in the Southern League. He won the Southern League Golden Boot. He won the National Game Awards Golden Boot. He was playing at the level below National League North and National League South. So he has jumped up above those levels, above National League level, into League Two. And he's having to play out wide for Newport. They've got Christian Doidge up front, but he's doing well and got on the score sheet already with good movement and a good finish. Then there's Yaya Bamba, who is more of an out-and-out winger, playing on the other side. He scored a cracking goal as well at the end to kind of ice the cake, if you like, or rather put the cherry on the top of the icing, which Gwenje had put on Kyle Cameron's cake. He scored 2 goals. They've both been absolute crackers, one with his right foot, one with his left foot. It's very early days, but this Newport side under Mullins instinctively look, or to me, they look a lot stronger physically, playing more direct, a bit more about them. They've got Cameron Norman at right back, who's a nice out ball, so they can hit goal kicks long to Norman. He's going to win more than he loses, and then you can kind of play from there. And I think it's an appropriate way for them to play. And I can't work out whether to be way more bullish on Newport or really alarmed about Rochdale. And I think what would be fair to do is just watch a few more games before deciding. So let's see how we go there. Tranmere. They were at home to Shrewsbury, George. First game of the Darryl Clark era. 2-0 win for Rovers.
Yeah, a really important 2-0 win. We've spoken in pre-season about the need for this Tranmere side to get off to a good start. With Darryl Clark taking charge, with the new signings coming in, Will Volks and Tom Ince both starting, as did Tom Conlon in midfield as well. It felt like in front of the home fans against a team that aren't expected to be one of the better teams in the league. This was a big game to go and get a statement win. And they did that. Again, not necessarily loads between the two teams, I wouldn't say in terms of performance level, but Tranmere took their chances. The first came from Jordan Davis, having joined from Fleetwood, with a set-piece goal kind of dropping to him in the area, kind of from a second phase. He also then, a really nice kind of ball carry that created a chance, which was saved after that. But Shrewsbury had opportunities, a couple from set-pieces. Lloyd missing 1 or 2. Like, they were in the game, and they were by no means completely outclassed. But the moment of the game, by miles, came from Charlie Whittaker, who's a player that we can expect this kind of quality from in League Two. Picking up the ball just inside his half, driving into the box, cutting inside on his right foot, a couple of dummies before a nice finish into the kind of far right-hand corner.
There's an amazing crowd noise, which someone thankfully heard, got the video, tweeted it, it's gone viral. This isn't an original thought from me.
Yeah.
But it's the Tranmere fans, Whittaker's carrying it, and he cuts inside the first defender or two, and there's like a, go on.
Yeah.
And then he cuts inside again, gets past the next defenders to get a shot off. Go on. Every single fan, go on. Yes. Yeah. That is what we've missed over the last 2 months.
So good. And just a player who seems to be pretty reliable to come up with moments of real quality.
I'm really hopeful that the quality that they've added, like Jordan Davis, like Volks behind him, is going to help Whittaker stand out even more, if that makes sense. There was almost too much pressure on him to be the one to make something happen in the final third. Hopefully, as part of a more well-rounded attack, he can actually, kick on further.
Yeah, for sure. So that is, it's great for Tranmere. I think for Shrewsbury fans, it's just worth, it's frustrating not to finish chances at 1-0 to make it 1-1, but some good performances there. And good to see Will Gray, the 17-year-old centre midfielder who finished the season last season under Gavin Cowan by starting the last 4 or 5 games. You were never sure if that was just because it's the end of the season. We got an academy graduate, but he started in the Carabao Cup. He started here again.
Yes.
Big future ahead of him. So looking forward to seeing more of him.
He'll have learned a lot in a midfield battle with Will Volks, who I thought looked particularly good for Tranmere. Oldham, same scoreline at home to Port Vale, 2-0, big win for Oldham. It was a pretty quiet first half, I think it's fair to say. 2 teams feeling each other out, cancelling each other out, and other football cliches of that nature. But it was a second half brace from Callum Kavanagh. Now, I'm really particularly happy about this because I was really positive about the Kavanagh signing last January very strongly felt that in Bradford's promotion season, where after Andy Cook got injured on New Year's Day, everyone was wondering where the goals would come from. In the end, the team scored the goals because the team almost got better without him as an attacking unit. Now, funny enough, Kavanagh was the one that was kind of playing up front for a lot of that time, and he wasn't scoring very many goals, but I was pretty convinced that it was his intelligence of movement, work rate out of possession, and technical quality in other ways that was helping elevate the team's attack, even if I think he got a bit of stick basically for not scoring very many goals. Still super young and has played a lot of football at this level, which again is always bodes well for someone just to keep learning their trade at the top of the pitch and then kick on. Still only 22, turns 23 next month. Second half brace here. No reason, I don't think, why he couldn't score a lot of goals this season. The first one, really quick thinking from Ollie Norburn and Kavanagh, quick free kick that Vale weren't expecting. They were a bit slow to react, and Kavanagh, by the time they realised, had got a shot off and found the bottom corner. And then the second one, sharp movement inside the 6-yard box to tap in after Mike Fondop had tried an overhead kick. Really positive start to the season for Oldham. This, it's some continuity from last season, but I think they've added some good stuff on top. Ollie Norburn and Keenan Appiah-Forson looked good in midfield. Norburn obviously old head at this level in midfield and won promotion with Notts County last season. Nothing much phases him apart from Armando Dobra, whose shoe he threw last season to get sent off. And then Keenan Appiah-Forson's this tiny sort of pocket rocket of a central midfielder who they got from Southend, who looks very lively. Scott Morris, they got him from Southend as well, the right back. Didn't score in this game, but we can expect him to. Him and Robson looking good at fullback. And yeah, Vale just not really creating much in this game. Didn't really trouble Matt Hudson in the Oldham goal. So yeah, pretty impressive stuff on opening day from Oldham.
Right, time to talk about some away wins. But first, talking of going away during the football seasons used to be a nightmare just because it was difficult to keep up to date with the leagues. But that's all changed with NordVPN.
Yeah, nicely done. Yeah. I mean, it's true. Watching sports while you're abroad is no longer the issue that it once was. So get yourself away for some September sun. Why not? You won't miss, if you don't want to, a single kick of football. You might decide to take some time off, but you might not. Live stuff, highlights, all of it with NordVPN. You can switch your location from anywhere in the world in order to access the content that you pay for and enjoy at home. I also use NordVPN to book flights to avoid price discrimination. It's very easy to use. It's one of the fastest VPNs out there as well. Great for cybersecurity. It can shield your online activities from hackers and make public Wi-Fi safer to use. So yeah, just a great and basically just a very important addition to modern life, I reckon.
And we've got an exclusive discount for NTT20 listeners, a discounted price and 4 extra months for free by heading to nordvpn.com/NTT20. That's nordvpn.com/NTT20.
George, what happened in Chesterfield against Fleetwood?
Fleetwood won 1-0. Lee Bonnis missed a couple of good chances for Chesterfield, and then Ched Evans scored a very good goal. Long ball forward, a little knock down to him, chested it and hit it in kind of one movement over boot in goal for Chesterfield. Yeah, a hell of a goal. And then Chesterfield had opportunities, as you'd expect. They dominated the ball. Despite that, they were still pretty ropey defensively. Fleetwood had a couple of opportunities on the break. In particular, Boot saved a cannon off Cannon's boot to keep the score at 1-0. But yeah, this was frustration for Chesterfield after a frustrating season last season. Kind of spoke in the 1-24s about being concerned that they'd lost some quality and whether or not the start of play under Paul Cook was necessarily the way to kind of have success in this league. So for them to have 70% possession in a home game and lose 1-0 doesn't feel like a great way to start the campaign. But, still have some quality players. And it was a moment of real quality to win the game.
Okay, Crawley 0, Crewe 1. And I'm laughing already because I can't imagine there will be many funnier, more ridiculous games in the league this season. It feels very Crawley Town. Let me explain. Not a lot happened in the first half. Crawley possibly slightly the better side, but, that would be overplaying it a little bit. In the 50th minute, they are on the attack and Malcolm Ebiowe is on the ball in the inside right channel, just carrying it into the opposition half. Kellen Gordon, his right back, overlaps him and the pass is on. And it would be the obvious pass to make to progress the attack, maybe then make a little darting run and get on an inside pass and advance the attack. But Ebiowe is not passing. He is dribbling because that's what he does. So he dribbles and eventually he gets fouled. And it's a strong challenge. It's not a horrendous tackle, but it's a strong challenge from the Crewe midfielder who then, after the whistle blows, goes to kind of press Kellen Gordon, who's got the ball. And Gordon, I think, still frustrated that Ebiowe hadn't passed, but then sort of redirecting his anger to the Crewe midfielder, as the Crewe guy gets to him, basically pushes him 2 hands in the throat pretty aggressively, I think it's fair to say.
It's not good.
It's not one of those where like he barely touches him and the Crewe guy goes down easily. Like
also,
he sends him flying.
And the Crewe player has no idea it's coming, which means there's no defence. And he almost has that thing where there's like a, what's it called? Your whiplash movement where his kind of head takes some time to catch up with his flailing body. So
Kellen Gordon gets sent off and there can be absolutely no complaint. And then I'm not sure exactly how many minutes later it was, but Ebiowe's on the counter-attack, Crawley now down to 10 men. Ebiowe on the counter-attack, dribbling again. He is very good at dribbling, you have to say. And there is a ridiculous foul on him from Aegis, who...
How many fouls?
He fouls him 3 times in the space of about 8 seconds to try and stop him, including like pulling him down basically by his shorts. And Ebiowe is annoyed and picks up the ball and throws it at Aegis. It hits him not in the face, I don't think. It's not thrown with any great force. It's very, very petulant behaviour, and he gets a red card for it.
Yeah.
Now
it's just another case of incentivizing people doing stuff in my head.
I honestly, and I know this might be ridiculous, but I think there's an argument that Aegis commits more than 1 yellow card offence in that. So in a weird way, I kind of either want it to both be a red card, but realistically, I don't know if Ebiowe's is actually a red card. There is, and this is always important, when we do ref chat, it's very, very important to me that we talk about the laws of the game and try and work out, what the referees are thinking about when an incident like this happens. So in the laws of the game, under the heading offences where an object or the ball is thrown, they really have thought of every eventuality. In all cases, the referee takes the appropriate disciplinary action. Reckless, caution the offender for unsporting behaviour. Using excessive force, send off the offender for violent conduct. I think it's hard to make a case
100%
for that being excessive force. It's certainly reckless.
Yeah.
I think it should have been a yellow.
Also, like this, it's the most egregious of the fouls is how he's fouled him. I think the whistle's maybe already blown. And even if it hasn't, it doesn't matter. And he grabs Ebiowe's leg to stop him from running away.
Yeah.
I think that picking up the ball in frustration and lobbing it at the person behind you, it's not, you shouldn't do it, but it's like an understandable human reaction to being like deliberately fouled consistently. And he should get a yellow card. Of course he should do, but yeah, it's a farce that he gets a red there.
Well,
and we'll get messages being like, you can't do that. And it's like, yeah, but question whether or not that's right. The rules exist.
You actually can do it recklessly,
correct,
as long as you don't do it with excessive force.
Yes.
And the ref decided otherwise. So Ebiowe is sent off. It is farce. You're right, it's farce. The initial foul is farce as well. It's ridiculous. They're down to 9 men. Crewe still need to find a winner, by the way. They haven't made the most of their man advantage. Then Mickey Demetriou gets sent off for... Like, you've never seen a foul coming more than the one that Mickey Demetriou commits, where he's sort of galloping forward and the ball loops up perfectly in the air. And he's only got eyes for the ball, but he thinks, I'm going to get my body on this. But he isn't. You can tell from the trajectory the defender's going to get there first. Defender clears it, and Demetriou cannot stop himself from absolutely flattening the Crawley defender. So then he's sent off. 3 reds, 10 v 9. Is it going to peter out? No, it's not. Lancaster, who'd already missed quite a few opportunities for Crawley, saw his teammate Taberner underlap. Hutchinson found Taberner. Taberner crossed to the back post. Josh March, header, just over the line, winning it late in front of the away end.
It's a great away end for Limbs, that away end.
Yeah.
I've been in it before, doing similar.
Yeah, hard to analyse that game, if I'm honest. But
there's also, I think Crawley fans will feel frustrated that even though the second yellow was given, and I don't know what the laws are, if you're going to give a red card, you have to blow up rather than give advantage, but they were away, albeit away in their own defensive third.
Ebiowe.
But they were, he was off.
Okay, so what next? How about Grimsby 1, Exeter 0?
Yeah, solid from Grimsby, if not spectacular. Scored in the first half from a Harvey Rogers header from a set piece that just about went over the line, and the new lad Doyle made sure, but I think it's been given to Rogers. X had a couple of chances from set pieces, good delivery from Cole, but nothing really that tested Christy Pym too much. Ewan Morgan, their new signing, Grimsby's new signing, had a really good chance at the back post with the header that he put over the bar. In the second half, Town were much better. Charles Vernon with a shot that was saved from the edge of the area too. But Exeter had a massive chance to get a point late on. A counter-attack, the ball falling to Wareham, kind of around the penalty spot. And in fairness, both Pym and Rogers are very, very good at getting out to him and just managed to do enough to force him to hit a shot over the bar. But all Exeter players straight down on their knees with their heads in their hand, knowing it was a great opportunity to get a point. So having been really positive about Grimsby before the season, having been pretty concerned about Exeter, I guess it kind of went a bit by the book without getting any more excited about Grimsby or getting any more concerned about Exeter.
Yeah, Cheltenham beat Rotherham by 2-1. And Charlie McCann scored their opening goal. I really like Charlie McCann. I think this could be one of the best signings of the summer. He finished nicely from an assist from Ryan Broom. From a Rotherham point of view, that goal is very, very ugly and brings back real flashbacks from last season where the consistency of their shambolic defending underpinned their relegation. It's poor both from the defenders and from the tracking back midfielders. Not impressive at all. Now, their goal was very nice. The equalising goal scored by Gilly Buyabu on loan from Sheffield United, left-sider. Wow, he's quick. The ball's headed forward into Tavares, the attacker, and Buyabu just gets on his bike, really quick control from Tavares and a quick pass in behind, and he speeds clear in the blink of an eye and finishes under the keeper for 1-1. Rotherham had more of the game. They had created more chances, they had more shots, they were, by some measures, the better side, but they don't have 18-year-old Leicester loanee Jake Evans. Cheltenham do, and he received the ball on the right wing, cut inside and curled home. A brilliant winning goal, great scenes, a hell of an introduction to him. And I think we should be pretty excited about Evans as well. I wrote on ntt20.com about the concept of transfer chains, which I quite like. So as an example, when Don Ballard goes to Bristol City from Leyton Orient, they need goals and they buy Jays Cabia from Grimsby, and then they need to replace Cabia and they sign Ewan Morgan from Brentford, and that's the end of the chain. It's a three-way chain.
Like it.
I'm looking for a four-chainer, but I haven't found one yet. There's one that involves Evans here as well. So Salford sign Luke Molyneux from Doncaster. Doncaster sign Jordan Thomas, who last season was Cheltenham's right winger. They need someone to replace him, and they go get Jake Evans from Leicester, and he wins them the first game of the season. So good start for them, but in terms of performance and my analysis of the two teams, probably one where I'm not going to be overreacting based on the result here. Won by a moment of quality, but on balance of play, I think Rotherham should take at least a point. They've got to sort out this defensive inconsistency and instability. 2 draws to finish, one more entertaining than the other. Accy 2, Colchester 2. Accrington the better side here. No doubt in saying that. Went behind through a set piece. Ian Dolo heading home Jack Payne cross after a strong start from Accrington. They then carried on and got ahead. Charlie Caton scoring twice, both from crosses from the right side. First one from Worley, second one from O'Brien. A very strange goal, that second one from a Cole Yu point of view, in that O'Brien receives the ball out wide in a good crossing position, and they knowingly stand off him. They do not go and close him down, as if to say, we don't think you're very good at crossing, do your worst. And he whips in an absolute doozy, which Caton runs onto and finishes. So Caton's interesting because he started over Cole Stockton here. They signed him in January 2025, so 18 months or so in. He was 22, he came from Chester, and he didn't hit the ground running, which is fairly understandable from the National League North. Scored 3 in 2025, and then loaned to Hartlepool back end of last season. And he starts up top for Accy and has 2 goals on opening day, but they didn't win it, which they should have, and it's a bizarre equalising goal. It's a Rob Hunt ball forward, which flies straight up in the air, catches the wind or maybe a deflection, and the keeper is underneath it, and Tucker is flying in for Colchester. Now, Tucker categorically does not head the ball. He misses the ball. And it's very hard to see how much contact there is with the goalkeeper. If there's any contact, it has to be a foul, because Tucker doesn't touch the ball. And the ref gives it, and I think, George, this is to do with the new laws, or rather the sort of updated rules of the game and some of the things that they change between the seasons. So they said, specifically the EFL, about contact involving goalkeepers, they will continue to apply a high threshold I think we're all happy with that. All players have a right to their position on the field of play, and being in the way of an opponent is not the same as moving into the way of an opponent. Completely agree. Normal football contact and genuine challenges for the ball will continue to be permitted. Now, Tucker does try and head the ball, but he doesn't. It says the refs will intervene when there is a clear action to interfere with the goalkeeper's arms, a clear action to impede the goalkeeper with no intention of challenging for the ball, and contact that directly impacts the goalkeeper's ability to play or challenge for the ball. Now, it's so hard to see on the angles that we have how much contact there is, but I think both point 1 and point 3 probably apply there. And I'd be feeling pretty sick if I was Accy not to have won the game, A, and B, for that to be the way that they failed to win it. Colchester, lucky, I think. Pretty unimpressed. Teddy Bishop injured within 10 minutes of the season starting. Very, very sad. Weirdly, Danny Cowley brought on Leek, who's a left back. They moved Iandolo to central midfield. And then at half time, he took Leek off, having brought him on, with Digby, who's a natural central midfielder, coming on, and Iandolo moving back to left back. It looks all very odd from the outside, I must say. I don't know why Leek came on in the first place if you had Digby on the bench. Maybe Digby couldn't play more than 45 minutes. Anyway, they got a point. Not very impressed. More impressed by Accy. Northampton 0, Swindon 0 was a match that happened. Cobbler's going closest to winning, but this wasn't a free-flowing, fluid game by any means. The main takeaway from watching this one, Logan Briggs. Hello. Welcome to NTT20 Pod. Young attacking midfielder on loan from Leicester. Loved the way he carried the ball at such a young age. He looked like big and strong and good on the ball. Created a couple of good chances, had a couple of good efforts himself. I have to shout out Gab Sutton here because I spoke to him last week about Northampton Town after we predicted them to finish in the bottom 2. One of the reasons he's a lot sweeter on them, he said, Logan Briggs, on loan from Leicester, is going to be really good. And I went, fair enough, Gab. I've never seen him play before, but he looks amazing. So well done, Gab. Probably a good place to leave it. Entertaining first weekend in League 2, with huge thanks to Loaded for being title sponsors of the Monday pod, and to you for listening to this first weekend recap of the League 2 season. Join us again next week on NTT20 Pod. Cheers and go well.